This is the book of Sirach, which is the book of Ecclesiasticus 39 and 28 through the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore scrolls. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them." This is the book of Matthew 24 and 12. And it reads, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders who are preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there.
Correct. Evidently, they're either witnesses or the suspect provided enough information initially. In other words, he took credit for the shooting for them to make that declaration, because that declaration is obviously of immense importance to be accurate. So I would say, based on the Sheriff's Department's information, that they have one suspect and they're confident that this is their one and only suspect.
Michael, it appears that this individual may have been arrested prior to this for what we at this point don't know. It hasn't been revealed to us what that arrest was for. So talk to me about what goes on in the department in terms of trying to find out what all his priors are. What is the protocol for figuring out where he obtained these weapons? Were they legal weapons? Were they...
And as you see right there, we have another mass shooting, and this is in California once again. And you know, this comes a day or two, I believe 1 day or 2 days ago, what happened over there in that region. I forgot the name of it. And you know, in the same region in California, where you had a person that killed 11 people and injuring about 2 or 3. And then I believe he was located in a white van, and the SWAT team tracked him down. I believe he died from a self-gunshot wound. Of that incident had happened, and I believe it was inside a dance area where they had the little 2-day festivity of the new linear calendar of the new year of what Chinese celebrate. That incident happened about a day or two ago. Now you have this new incident right here in California. And I believe this is Half Moon, California, which is like in the Bay, not outside of the Bay Area, outside of San Francisco Bay Area, I believe. And it's from NBC Bay Area staff, published by them 3 hours ago, updated 6 minutes. And it reads, 7 people dead and 1 injured in a Half Moon Bay shooting, suspect in custody. And it says 7 people were killed, and 7 people were shot and killed. And I believe right, because you had 7 people were killed and 1 was critically injured. And this was at 2 separate scenes in Half Moon Bay on Monday afternoon, according to the San Mateo County Sheriff Office reports. It says 4 victims were found dead about 2:22 p.m. around the 127th block of Carabello Highway. The sheriff official said another victim was transported Stanford Medical Center with life-threatening injuries. Shortly after that discovery, 3 more victims were found dead at a separate scene, which I believe is the second location in the area. As you seen in the video clip, they took the suspect into custody. I believe it was a 67-year-old man who did this. And it says, and all of them was Chinese co-workers as the information was starting to come out. And it says, shortly after that discovery, 3 more victims were found at a separate scene in the area, according to the sheriff's officials. And it says the 67-year-old Half Moon Bay resident Zhao Chang Li was taken into custody about 4:40 p.m. after he was found in his vehicle in the parking lot of the Half Moon Bay substation. The sheriff's official said, it says he was taken into custody without injury and a weapon was found in his car. And it says the victims are Chinese farm workers. Half Moon Bay councilor member Debbie Ruddock said. See this another news clip right here.
We want to bring in a person who lives in Half Moon Bay, a resident of Half Moon Bay, Tom Watson. He's been living there for 30 years. We want to bring him in. He's on the phone with us right now. Mr. Watson, first, our condolences that something like this, of this magnitude, has happened in your beloved town. I know Half Moon Bay is a very close-knit community. Thank you for talking to us. Can you tell us a little bit about what you heard or may have seen today as this unfolded?
I was leaving my office at 3:30 this afternoon, and I've never seen so much police activity on the coast side living here for this long. And it was sort of troubling to see with all the sheriffs, all the helicopters. It was actually a scary scene. So basically, I sought refuge at Cameron's restaurant close to my home, which is right by Rice Trucking there, right across the street. And the owner, Cameron Palmer, said, "Hey, Tom, get in here. We're on lockdown." So we went in there and sought refuge, and I had to call all my family members, make sure that they were safe. It was a very scary time, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can only imagine just, the kind of anxiety that you would feel seeing that level of police activity and really not knowing what was going on at that point. Now that you do know exactly what's happened, I'm sure your heart has sank.
No, it's very disappointing to see our coast side. Our coast side is such a tight-knit community. Pretty much everyone knows everyone here on this side of the hill. And, it's troubling to see this type of devastation and sort of, it's unruling, you know what I mean? It's unsettling, to be honest with you, that this would happen in our own community.
Mr. Watson, you've lived there for 3 decades, I understand. Have you ever seen anything? Obviously, nothing has ever risen to this level of violence, but when you think about some of your experiences in the last 30 years, I mean, I can't imagine that anything beyond, a robbery or maybe, something that would rise to that level, but nothing of this magnitude.
No, nothing of this magnitude has ever happened here. Someone's going to maybe, break into your car, possibly. But, we live in a very safe community here, and everyone watches out for everyone here on the coast side. And, it's sort of unsettling, to be honest with you.
Hey, Tom, you said you were essentially on somewhat of a lockdown there at Cameron's Pub. Just for our viewers and just for all of us, because so many of us come to Half Moon Bay and visit and spend weekends out there. Cameron, is that the one with the double-decker English bus out in front?
Yeah, the double-decker bus, with the great fish and chips. So, and I know Cameron very well, and I saw the police activity, so I just thought, I'm going to seek refuge in a very safe spot. So, and then Cameron sort of shut the bar down, but he's like, Tom, come on in and seek refuge in my pub.
Yeah,
so that's what I did.
Well, we're very glad for Cameron as well. Just for a point of reference now for all our viewers, Cameron, is this like right next to Cameron's, or down the road, I should say, also close to the Half Moon Bay Ritz and those golf courses there. So
that is correct. And I live in Ocean Colony, so I'm very close to that area. I'm a mile away from all that activity. You know what I mean? So it was very unsettling. I needed to call my wife, my kids, and make sure everyone's safe. So,
Tom, we appreciate you being with us tonight. One of the worst nights in the history of Half Moon Bay, certainly. Go ahead, please.
We pray for the victims and, everyone involved in this. It's very, all of our hearts are out for our community of the coast side.
We are with you, Tom, and that community. And again, you will be watching with us when the sheriff does give us some more information in just about 15 minutes. So Tom Watson, resident there of Half Moon Bay, said he was just working nearby, saw all the commotion in the 3 o'clock hour, and then went right up the road to Cameron's Pub, which is that restaurant with the double-decker English bus there out in front where a lot of people recognize. And they were essentially holed in there just to make sure everything was given the all clear. This is near Cameron's. This is near the Half Moon Bay Ritz, some locations that people might be familiar with, right off Highway 1, the Cabrillo Highway South, next to that trucking company and the mushroom farm there.
So yeah, as you've seen, that little 5 minute 20-second clip right there of the incident had happened over there in Half Moon Bay. And it says residents of Tom Watson described the scary and unsettling scene in Half Moon Bay after a deadly shooting left at least 7 people dead on Monday. Then, as it says, a motive for the shooting is under investigation. And it says a main reunification has been set up at a IDS hall, which is located 735 Main Street of Half Moon Bay. Further information was immediately available. This is a developing news story. Details may change as more information comes available. Stay tuned for updates. So yeah. So as we've seen, now we have another shooting, which is in the California region. Now you have right here a Half Moon Bay area, which is near the Bay Area, over the coast of the Bay Area over there in that region, not too far from the Bay Area, or not too far outside of the Bay Area. As you see right here, a Half Moon Bay in California, outside the Bay Area, has 7 dead, 1 injured in a Half Moon Bay shooting, and a suspect is in custody. And I'm bringing out the scriptures again for edification's sake. Matthew 24:12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right, because that's what we are seeing consistently increasing of judgment increasing, of the love of many are waxing cold. Like it says, lawlessness shall increase in the latter days, and that's what we are seeing. And this is 1 John 3:4, and it reads, and whosoever committed sin transgress also the law, For sin is the transgression of the law, right? Lawlessness and transgression, it's a sin, because that's why we seeing sin is rapidly increasing in the latter days, as the scriptures has stated, because of Matthew 24:12, because the love of many shall wax cold, and lawlessness is definitely increasing, and whosoever committed sin also transgressed the law, So sin is definitely been wrapping up on the planet Earth, The love of many are waxing cold, people just having this cold heart towards one another. And these are the things that's happening in the latter days in our society, And I'm going to bring up Matthew 24:12 once again, for edification's sake, the sit-down lesson. Matthew 24:12 through the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." In 2 Timothy's This is 2 Timothy's 3:1, and it reads, "This know also that in the last days perilous times should come." Right, because we are definitely seeing an increasingly the current times that we are living in, and these perilous times. You've been seeing lawlessness increasing, the love of many are waxing cold towards one another in these latter days, And so with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying. As this latest news article, I'm going to read it again. Another shooting happened in the California region. And this is 2 days after that mass shooting happened over there in California, outside of downtown Los Angeles. I say about 15 to 20 miles downtown outside of Los Angeles. You had a major event of the Lunar New Year's Chinese celebration, which was a 2-day event. You had a mass shooting over there of 11 people were killed and 2 injured. Now, a couple of days later, now you got this latest shooting right here in the California region once again, of 7 people dead and 1 injured in a Half Moon Bay shootings as suspect in custody. As I mentioned before, Matthew 24:12, because because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And the 2 Timothy's 3:1, knowing that in the latter days perilous times should come. And we are in those perilous times. We are already in those perilous times increasing, and that's what we're seeing, with these violent crimes increasing, lawlessness, love of many of others are waxing cold. So we're definitely seeing these things increasingly, because the Heavenly Father said in the latter days these things were going to happen, And that's why I brought out that Matthews 24:12 of the love of many should wax cold in the latter days, and that's what we are seeing. And perilous times definitely increasing as well too, And so with that, once again, hopefully this lesson was edifying. Of the news article that I just read, and the 2 news clips that I brought out as well too, along with the scriptures that I just brought out in reference to this news article. And I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakarkadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the 4 corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom.